Welcome to Her Voice. Today we have Eileen, a first-generation immigrant who created the American dream for herself, became a pediatrician at Sienna Health, and also founded FitMed. And what's FitMed? We're going to find out today. Welcome, Eileen.
Thank you, Ava. Thank you for having me here at the beautiful Salt Room.
We're really honored to have you here. And I can't wait to hear the incredible story and incredible journey that you walked. How you became a doctor, how you created your American dream and founded your own company, all in a short while of, I don't know, you're 22, we're not.
We'll keep it at that.
Exactly. You are just so beautiful and you're so fit. And I know it's difficult for doctors to keep that work-life balance because they give, and they never give themselves. So let's talk about that.
Thank you. Well, there's a lot to talk about, but I think I'll start with your question, how did I become a doctor? So I was born in China and I grew up in China. My mom was a physician. Now, medicine in other countries, yes, but medicine in other countries are very, very different from here. So we have patients coming to see her and they'll do house calls or they'll come to our home and she'll take their blood pressures and do acupuncture. She had a very close relationship with all her patients. Even when we came to America when I was 8, her patients would fly over from China to see her because she made such an impact in their lives.
Incredible.
So, but when I was in high school, one of my tours, my last years, I found out, and my mother found out, she had stage 4 brain cancer. And it was a shock to us because she was always healthy, she was always very energetic, willing to help everybody and happy. We had no idea she was going through this, but she said, you know, I've been having these headaches every night, but I was studying for medicine. I was reviewing all the patient cases. I just thought it was because I was too tired. But she found out too late. The doctor said, you have probably 6 months to live.
Wow.
At the time. But we fought. We went to every healthcare institutions. We went to MD Anderson, the best in the world, to find help. And she even flew back to China. And what we noticed, and what I noticed as her daughter accompanying my mother to these, is that they told her, there's nothing else we can do. So let's put you into these protocols. We have this test here, we have this test. It'll eventually go into a publication, but you know, you're contributing and maybe it will help. This is the strongest because what else have we got? And she had these horrible side effects. She was throwing up, she lost all her hair, she had a lot of hormonal fluctuations, she had bleeds from her nose intracranial. And it was a very dark time for us. And witnessing that, I realized that you never thought that if you, as my mother, when she was a physician, she never thought she would be treated like a lab rat. And that left an impression in my mind that if I wanted to be a healer, then I have to heal that person as an individual.
Must have been a devastating thing as a teenager, huh?
It was, yeah, it changed my life, and I am not doing it. I mean, there's a lot of careers out there you can do that you can help people. And medicine is not an easy one because people come to you and they're trusting you with their lives, with their decisions. As a pediatrician, as Sienna Pediatrics, you know, parents come to me and ask literally what do they do, and I know what I say will have an impact at 3 a.m. when the child is crying and nobody can get any sleep. So I put thought behind that, and you have to be human. And even I will say, I don't always know the answers. I don't know what to make her feel better that exact moment, but this is what I would recommend as a guideline, and there can be changes. And I have to acknowledge that there are shortcomings and limitations even to a doctor. And with the minute you have that realness with your patients, I think I'm not in the business of being God. I'm in the business of making your day a little bit better and doing something that's medically sound.
It's probably terrible to hear something like that, you know, when a teenager goes through a loss of a mother, but it also shaped you, it inspired you, it made you who you are today. And you're an incredible doctor, an incredible pediatrician, and I'm sure many, bless you every morning when they wake up and their child is healthy. But let's talk about your side hustle. Your side hustle, right? I call it side hustle because it's something that inspires us. It's not necessarily our day job, but it's something we're passionate about. And something you've noticed in your career is that doctors don't really take good care of them. What's an oxymoron, right? So they don't take care of themselves. So how did you come up with that? Tell us about FitMed a little bit.
So I would tell you, I've never played sports growing up. And the first time I ran was probably when I was 15 years old, and I passed out and went down in 15 minutes. So I'm not born, I don't have a natural genetic genes to be fit or athletic. But when I lost my mother, I was really kind of lost for a while. Imagine starting college, moving away from home, being by yourself, and I was kind of estranged from my father who had his own family. So I was kind of really figuring it out on my own. What is it that makes me me? And how do I find love for myself when I feel like the person who gave me love was no longer there? So I just poured my energy into school, into work, into career, and into passions that I had at the time. I started running, I was dancing in college, and I found a lot of joy in movement. And it made me feel good. So even on the worst days when I was down or tired, if I go for a run and coming back 30 minutes later, I felt like I could do it. I can make it, and I can.
It's liberating, huh?
It's liberating, and I can get that test. I can finish that essay, or wake up next day. So that's what drove me, and it became a lifestyle. Medical school, same thing. I was to study at my Carroll at UT Southwestern. We all have a little study desk at school. Nobody's there. I stay there till 9 o'clock, and I go to the gym for 45 minutes, and I come back and I study till midnight, and I'll go home and go to bed. So that was what got me through. And you know, I've been doing this for a while. I ran many marathons and half marathons. Then I did CrossFit. I was a dancer to begin with. And I also found love for yoga because the meditation was such a good form of self-love and forgiveness. So I did all of that, and it just became a part of my life. And I started noticing my female colleagues, you know, we're not really always embodiment of health because we have family, we have student debt, we have our crazy busy schedule, we have patients, and it's giving a lot. And so you come home, sometimes you're just tired. It's really hard when you don't have it as a habit to make yourself go out there and take time for yourself. So, but I feel like we as physicians should deserve to maybe practice a little bit more on ourselves when we are treating our patients and telling them to go exercise and try to de-stress.
Easier to preach, right?
It's easier to, so I said, this is why my passion came from this, because I lived it and I know how hard it is to make time to do the things, but it's also the only thing that kept me alive, to be honest, through the darkest time, you know? So I do it every day, and I want women to feel that they can do the same thing for themselves.
Amazing.